This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. Well, we got a lot to say about next month, and we'll be talking about it next week. It's September of 85 coming to an end. October is right around the corner. Let's button up the rest of the month, though. You guys do a TV taping in Greenville, South Carolina on September 23rd. As we mentioned, that's where we're going to hear the famous promo where you're saying Dusty's not defending that title, but it doesn't air quite yet. You're going to do another show at the Scope on September 27th. You're going to have 10,000 fans there. Ric Flair and Magnum TA are going to go to a 60-minute draw. AWA is going to do a Super Clash on September 28th. I mention it because there is some Jim Crockett Promotions talent on the card. On the 29th, you're back in the Omni. And what a big show this is, because we've got a lot of moving parts. Ron Garvin is going to team with Terry Taylor to fight the National Tag Team Champions Ole and Arn to a draw. But then in the main event, Ric Flair is going to defeat Nikita in a steel cage match. And after the bout, Crusher Khrushchev closes the door as Ivan and Nikita double team the champion. And then what do you know? Dusty Rhodes comes out to make the save, and I'll be damned. Here come Ole and Arn. They come out, they lock the cage, and they help Flair triple team Rhodes. And eventually Flair hits that big knee drop off the top. And we're going to break Dusty Rhodes' leg in the process. Of course, Flair's going to apply the figure four, and Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson and Magnum TA and Sam Houston and all the baby faces are going to try to make the save, but it's too late. And eventually when the cage door is opened, Flair and the Andersons escape. It's a damn near riot here in the Omni, and the other wrestlers are going to tend to Dusty Rhodes. But that is going to build the Starrcade. That is going to build maybe one of the more iconic promos in the history of professional wrestling, the Hard Times promo. But tell me about that night in the Omni, September 29th, 1985, in front of 12,000 fans. This is maybe the biggest moment to kick off the Horsemen, but one of the more iconic moments in the whole Flair Rhodes trilogy. And you're right in the middle of it.
Well, just the twists and turns that got you to, Dusty coming down to help Flair, and then Flair turns on Dusty when the Andersons get there and joins in the mugging, which was such a curveball to the audience. It's like, what's happening? And once that door got locked, buddy, when guys started coming down and all those names that you mentioned were climbing that cage, that's usually the exit point for heels in a cage match. If you're going to get heat like that, once the baby faces come down, start climbing that cage, it's famouche time. Well, we started knocking them off the cage and the volume went up again. And I'm looking at Ole and he said, just keep knocking them off. And we kept knocking those guys off, and the audience figured out, hey, they're not going to save these guys. They're going to kill Dusty in there. What the hell? And we opened the door and we stepped out of that cage, about 10 or 15 across and about 15 back, started pushing forward. I don't know how many people it was, but they started pushing us back and back into the cage. And had it not been for about 12 Atlanta police officers who came down with nightsticks and were able to beat them back and give us enough room to get out of the cage and hit the floor. And we started working our way with those police officers around us back to the locker room. And it took a while to get there because that place, it was a full-blown riot. It wasn't almost a riot. It was full-blown. And they were hitting us in the head with stuff and, all kind of, we got the hell beat out of us getting back to the locker room. And I got to tell you, it was frightening. I'm not going to bow my chest out and say, oh, hell, we kicked 100 fans' ass to get back to the locker room. That's not the case. Atlanta police officers saved our life, and we were fighting for our life just to get back to the locker room. And it was the scariest moment of my career. It was very real in all those fans' eyes. It was very real in our eyes because, man, they put it on us. And it was an angle that just fired what was already a simmering territory and starting to build. It just inflamed it. And because Dusty was that over, it was that first link to the Andersons and Flair being that close, and it was leading to something big time. And we know what that was.
We know what that was. You guys put Hard Times on the American Dream. He had just won the TV title in July. Ultimately, that title is going to wind up being vacated. We know where it's going to land, but we're going to land on October next week right here on Arn. I guess we should mention the day after this near riot in the Omni, September 30th, you're in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Coliseum. Dusty Rhodes is in action, a little worse for wear, a little beat down, a little battered. He's in singles competition with Arn Anderson. You know, now in your now hometown at the Coliseum, you and Dusty one-on-one. This is a guy who you used to watch on TV, and now you're standing across the ring from him. And there's no accoutrement. It's mano a mano, head to head, nose to nose, toe to toe. Are you pinching yourself? Is this the time of your life so far?
And the angle is behind us, right?
Yep. So, happened the day before.
So it's an angle match. There's Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, and he is pissed, and he has got a reason to be pissed. And he is in full blown lightning bolts coming out of his eyes. I would just about imagine if I was a betting man, that was just one ass whooping I had to take.
Yeah. Unusually, you didn't win that one. Huh.
Not only did I not win, I might not have got an offensive move the entire match.
I do want to mention Dusty is going to officially be stripped in October, but that's not going to keep you from in advance of that happening, claiming that you're the NWA television champion. And we're going to talk about that next week. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.